Hey Flosstube. So I previously said I wouldn't be back until 2024. Here I am. I thought I have some extra time. I would kill for some really awesome content. Not saying I'm awesome content, but some people seem to enjoy me. So if you are one of those people, this is for you. Because I am going to do a video showing what I've done in the past 10 days. My Christmas haul, which Jim did a pretty good job. I have the Mad for Minders 2 winners for the giveaway that I'll announce in just a second. And then I have a shit ton of projects that I might work on in 2024. This is in no way a full WIP parade, but this is every project that I have that's speaking to me that I would really like to touch in 2024, including the few where I'm like, I'm starting that in 2024. I know I went through my kits last time, but these are the ones where I'm like, these are going in a separate basket. I can pull a start from this that I really want to start in 2024 at any time. I narrowed it down to 8. I narrowed it down to 8. That's still kind of a lot, but so yeah, I've got a lot. I cut my hair. I know a couple of people were kind of anti-cutting the hair, but it's still long and it's just got some just shaggy layers in it. I'm digging it. I can wear it curly. This is just wash and wear today, which the fact that it looks this decent, just wash and wear. I'm a big fan of that. Yeah, let's get started. The winners for the Mad for Minders giveaway. The first winner is Dorothy9276. She said her favorite minder is the floral mason jar, and then she went on to tell me about the old ring of DMC, and totally get it. So Dorothy9276, Evika will be in touch with you. Feel free to reach out to her if you haven't heard from her when you hear this. The second winner is, I kind of love this name, Cankerdoodle B 9149. And she says, my favorite binder is the Traumatized Cat Trio. It's on my work right now. They crack me up. I have many on my wish list. I'm also on the Use It Up. And then she continues. So, you guys, and number one, I waited because I suck. And then I waited because I forgot. But on the upside now, we're on the other side of crazy holiday Christmas mailings with the post office. So you're welcome. Your needle minders are now much less likely to get lost in the mail. So there's that. Let me put my laptop over here. That part is done. And now we can move into what I've accomplished in the past 10 days. I worked on 2 things. One that I am diligently trying to work on for my sister and hopefully get this completed before some holiday or birthday. This is the Little House Needlework ABC samplers. I started this for her in hopes that I would have it done for her 50th birthday. She's now 51. Isn't that how things go? But she doesn't know that I started it for her, I don't think. So, you know, it happens when it happens. In fact, I just got off the phone with her before filming this. She was like, hey, want to have dinner tonight? So yes, sister. Yes, I would like to have dinner tonight. So I'm working on this for her. When I started it this go around, I only had the ABC block done. So I have done the DE block, and then I skipped down and did the IJK block just because that's what naturally fit and was still showing in my Q-snap. And I really am kind of lazy and didn't want to move it. So next time I will probably shift it this way and do maybe this and the center block. But this is on a piece of Picture This Plus Ale. And I'm not using the called for colors. I honestly just picked some colors that I felt like she would like and that would go with her aesthetic. and I'm just going with it. I think she'll really like this. Once upon a time, I was really into the like primitive house decor. And you know, your tastes change. My sister's taste has not changed. So any of my primitive house decor, she stole before it went to Goodwill. And it's at her house along with all of her original primitive house decor. So that's here. This is going back in my stack for 2024 stitching because I will touch this again. I'm about to make the biggest mess. My usual 2024 basket is full. I'm going to have 2 2024 baskets. Yeah, I'll work on that later. The other thing that I have worked on is I got this kit from Country Sampler. And this is Winter Moon by Plum Street Samplers. They offered this as a pre-order earlier in the year, and you could pre-order and then they would send it out when they got it, and they said that they were going to try to have it out to everyone by the winter solstice on the 21st. I think I got mine a couple of days prior to the winter solstice and started it that day. I just really like it. I love some thick, solid stitching, and this is that. And I like the fact that it's more wintry rather than Christmassy. So, yeah, I'm here for it. I got a good bit done. Oh, and my hair and cat hair on this. Hold on, I will tell you. This is on, I'll just hold it up and read from this. 36 count saltbush, and that is a fox and rabbit. Yeah, fox and rabbit. It's a really pretty linen. I'm using the called for colors that came with the kit. Thoroughly enjoying this. Do any of you ever get, like, I know not everybody uses Q-snaps and Q-snap covers, but I do. I feel like it really protects my my fabric that gets rolled up around the edges. But does anybody just, like, I have a lot of Q-snap covers, and I just reuse this one over and over and over because it's my favorite. Once upon a time, someone made this for me, and I know it's terrible that I can't remember, but I mean, it has holes in it. I think I like it because, like, all kinds of holes in it. From being clamped onto my case creation stand so much. But I think I like it because it's a little bit wider, maybe, than a normal one. I don't know. But I love it. It's not a bright, like, gaudy color. It's just really neutral, so it doesn't distract my eye too much. Maybe it's time to finally break down and switch to another one or buy another one that's similar to this. But yeah, it's just riddled with holes. So there's that. But yes, I've also been really obsessed with this Amityville minder recently that I got from Mad for Minders. And it's just moved from project to project to project. I have tons of minders, and I've just refused to change because I love this one so much. Also, another note, I do not hear them right now, but my neighbors next door. So I live in a neighborhood where the houses are pretty tight together in some spots. My neighbors being one of those. Love the neighbors on this side. They're great people. Outside of their dog Paco, who I've learned to love, I never hear from them. Paco, however, believes that my backyard is his backyard, and if I go out there, he may try to come through the fence at you. He is an elderly Chihuahua who has no teeth, so I have no fear of Paco. They're great people. We took them Christmas cookies. We like them a lot. Their daughter's name is Emily. The people on this side, they're not my favorite. And I'll just leave it at that. But they are building on an extension to the back of their house, so you may hear hammering and noisy things. It's really frustrating that during my week off at home, where I'm trying to have all of this quiet and solitude and relaxation and just kind of like regenerate myself that I'm dealing with hammering and sawing and pounding. Any dislike I already had of them has amplified. There's the hammering. Hopefully you can't hear it, but it's an explanation if you hear it. I'm sorry. There is honestly no time of day it's not happening that is a better time to film this. So it just is what it is. So that's Winter Moon. I pulled this straight out of the mail and started it. It hasn't even gotten put in a bag yet. So I need to figure out what bag this is going to go in. If I have a bag for it, I'm sure I do, and get that done. Haul. Let's do that next. So Jim and I got up pretty early this morning because I have a breakfast love of Eggs Benedict. It is like my favorite breakfast ever. It has like the sweetness of like the eggs and the hollandaise, and then you've got the salty Canadian bacon. Like, it's breakfast perfection to me. And in the South, it's hard to find like somebody who can really do Eggs Benedict. And people in the South like try to do a Southern spin on Eggs Benedict and like, oh, instead of hollandaise, we're going to use gravy. No. Instead of an English muffin, we're going to use a biscuit. No. Just give me Eggs Benedict. So I discovered 30 miles north this restaurant chain that does a fabulous Eggs Benedict. So I told Jim, we're both off. I want Eggs Benedict. We're getting up and we're driving up there and we're having breakfast together. And he's like, okay. He loves me, so he does things like this. He also loves me, so he does things like this that I'm about to show you. He contacted, and I had told him if he got me any cross-stitch stuff, particularly if he got me linens, to contact this one particular person who has a shop. And I said, she knows what kind of linen I like. Like, you won't have to guess. You can just message her and say, hey, I want to buy, a piece of linen for Emily. And she'll hook you up. Like, she knows what I look at. She knows what I purchase. She knows what I've asked about. She'll just sell you some. And it'll be that easy. Well, he did reach out to her. And he said, I want linen. He also said, I'm looking at Emily's wish list of other things. And I don't know. I don't know how to source it all. Do you have any of this? And she basically said, do you want me to handle this? And he said, yes. And she did. I'm saying she instead of giving you the name because I had messaged her and asked her if it was okay if I gave her name and that she did all of this work on the back end for my husband, because I didn't want other people expecting her to do the same thing if this isn't something she normally does, if she was just being kind. So if she gets back to me and says yes, I'll let you know in a future video who it was. I ended up with a crap ton of linen, multiple kitted wish list charts, this really cute thread keep, which I'll have to figure out what this needs to go on. There was there was a needle minder that has been eaten by something. It'll show up. So let's start with the linen. This is a piece of Needle Bling Heirloom. It's just, this person knows that I just love a nice neutral mottled linen. And I don't think I've had Needle Bling before. So this is really exciting. That's pretty. So this is a fat quarter of this. This is a piece of Lap and Loop's Small Potatoes, which I had actually been looking at, but had hesitated because some people had been like, well, I didn't expect it to be that pink. I don't really see pink. I just really like it. It has a nice all over model. And the light that you're seeing this in, I have a big window right there up here in my craft room, and then I've got my ring light. So that's a great piece. There is this piece of Crypt Cloth by Lap and Loops, which is another one I was wanting. I don't know, can Etsy sellers see what you've taken or put in your cart and taken out? Because this one's pretty great. That is pretty fabulous. I've got to use that for something, and soon. Maybe I need to go through some of my starts over here and see what I can match up with these. This one looks like, and I don't know how this person, maybe they just pulled it from their old stash, I don't know. But because I was in this club back in the day, I know the tagging, which makes me think that this is from Victorian Motto, back when they dyed linen. This is classic sampler, half a yard. And it's gorgeous. Gorgeous. This is amazing. And regardless how it went down at the end with Victorian Motto with their fabrics, they dyed a gorgeous piece of fabric. This last one is Bestitch Me, which I've also never had before, but always wanted to try. One more reproduction. I mean, this is just beautiful. Look at that. So, yeah, pretty darn happy with these. So these will go in stash to be used for whatever. The charts. The first one I've already kind of started putting on drops. So it's out of the thing. This is the Scarlet Letter, Camel and Lion. One of my favorites. I love this style of chart. This is one I will probably start once I finish a Peacock, a Unicorn, and a Badger. The person who did all of this knows I prefer DMC over silk. So all of the DMC in this bag. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Jim was like, I didn't think you would like something that cartoony. Jim, I do. This one's been on my wish list for a while. This is also the Scarlet Letter, Elizabeth Squirrel. It's so funky. Look at that squirrel, guys. And then the rabbit. All the DMC. Olivia, I know you're watching this. I think you have this, and I think you have it kitted. I now have it as well. It's been on my wish list for a long time. Sarah Dutnall, 1818. It's a Tree of Life sampler, and it's just gorgeous. No verse, just beautiful stitching and a beautiful, beautiful border. And just beautiful earth tones. This could very easily go on one of those big pieces of linen, I think. I think this one's pretty big. Sampler will measure approximately 16 by 18.5 on 35 count linen. Yep. That's not it. This was my biggest Christmas gift. And he knows, I mean, stitching is what I do every day. This is one that has been in my 1, 2, 3 stitch wish list for quite some time, but I haven't bought it because it wasn't a super cheap chart, and it called for a shit ton of Weeks Dye Works, which also jacked up the price on it. So this is Dutch Rose Garden by Samplers Not Forgotten. There we go. I love this one. I think it's so beautiful. So pretty. And all of the weeks. This one is not kitted, but this had been on my wish list for a long time because it's an expensive book and I didn't know when I would start something out of it. But this is Teresa Kovitz, Hello Halloween. I would not ever do this gigantic Halloween sampler, but I would do pieces from it. Like, I would love to do this row of witches. I love them so much. Jim likes the row of cats. Also in here, hold please, a couple of my favorite ones that I have seen other people do are these two ladies. They're so cute flying through the air. And Ellen, check out this big booty Judy. So those are great. There's lots more, honestly, charts in here, like other smaller things, and like I could just pull Dark 13 starts for a long time out of this book. Buster agrees. I bought myself one thing, and then we'll move into things for 2024. Well, two things. I bought myself this piece of Seraphim linen in chai because I saw somebody show a piece, and I thought, you know, I've looked at that for some time. I want to get a piece and just have it in my stash for myself. It's just a really good neutral. And I know that my stash is full of really good neutrals. But I needed one more. I also grabbed this bag from Raven's Roost Stitchery. She posted this, and my Should Have Been Born in the 70s soul couldn't not have it. It's just so 70s. And the inside, look at the little beaded pull. And the inside of it, oh my gosh. So something needs to go in this. And I'll have to figure that out. And because she's so incredibly sweet, she sent me this as a Christmas gift. Fun little snowflake on the inside. Beautiful bag. Beautiful bag. She's on Etsy. Oh, there's the needle minder. A cute little kitty. Okay. Let's start with, there's two things that I worked on this past year that I want to work on again. This is going to be a really long video. I hope you guys have beverages and lots of things to stitch on. I want to get some more work on Carolina Milia trowel. It's one I would like to see finished because I love how funky she is. I am doing this on a piece of Fiber on a Whim 36 count latte. I can tell when my glasses slide down now because they rest on my nose ring and it just feels weird. I mean, it doesn't bother me, it doesn't hurt, but still weird little thing. This is where I am on this. I really want to finish it this year, and I think that would be possible. because I think, I mean, I've got a lot of the heavy stitching done, like that house. And then I could use this other part for something else. I got a couple of Michael's gift cards for Christmas for my in-laws, because they know that I stitch and they don't know like much about buying stitching stuff. So, but they also know I frame a lot of stuff, and that I'll use that. This one I worked on this year. I will pull it out for a dark 13 or 2. This is Blackbird Designs, Halloween Eve. Started this one in 2022, and I really enjoy working on it. So it's coming out again. And I'm pretty far on it. This is my piece of Picture This Plus Bramble. Very pretty. Called for threads. Carolina Milia trowel was also the called for threads. You can tell a bag that I made myself, a little noisier. I don't think I touched any of this stack this year, and they were in my basket to be touched, which kind of gives you a heads up of how this is going to go. Plans are made to be broken. I don't hold myself to them. I'm not going to cry myself to sleep at night if I don't touch all of this year. In fact, I'll be surprised if I touch all of this year. But these are pulled as ones that I can easily get to. This next one is what I have labeled as Into the Mystic. But you guys know it as Live on Little. This is Plum Street Samplers, Live on Little. I love this chart so much. It reminds me of going up to see Jim's parents in New England and trips with my family. The one trip with my family to New England when I was little. And Jim and I have spent a lot of time up there because his family's up there. Like, we just went on a trip to New Hampshire and Maine this year. Love it. This, I recharted the verse though to be Van Morrison's Into the Mystic, so that it's me. Hey buddy, can I help you? And that's pretty much what I have done, is the verse. Hark now, hear the sailors cry, smell the sea and feel the sky. Let your soul and spirit fly into the mystic. Yeah. I just think that's the perfect verse for this. And I had told myself I was going to work on this year, and I just didn't. And it's getting, yes, this year. So it's getting worked on next year. A lot, if I have anything to say about it. Which I do, because it's my stitching. But it's a stitch heavy piece. It's another reason that I'm excited about it though, because I love a good stitch heavy piece. Paulette's good at giving us those. This one is, this was in my stack to be done this year, or not done, but worked on, because it's so quirky. We started it for Ellen Reed's birthday one year. I believe she's finished it. This is Mary Griffith, 1873. It's a Welsh sampler. The verse is entirely in Welsh. So, and I'm stitching it just like this, in a language I don't understand. Using the call for threads. And I believe Into the Mystic, I'm doing that on a piece of sand dune linen that I think is a silk weaver. But I've learned that even across dyers, sand dune linen kind of has that same yellowy brown sandy tint to it. So take that for what it's worth. This is being stitched on a mystery. It's being stitched on a mystery. I believe it's fiber on a whim or something like that, but it's a cream piece of linen. Nothing really special. Not that it's not beautiful, but lots of linens look similar to this. So this is where I am. I've gotten a lot done on this. It really needs some more love. It goes so well in this bag. Okay, all right. This next one is Jane Hardy, which I also really wanted to work on this year. One of the reasons I put it in the stack was not just because I love it, but because I really thought I had way more done on this, and I have like nothing done on this. Jane Hardy is a Hands Across the Sea design. It's verseless, which I do like because I usually end up having to change the verses, and that's more work for me. But yeah, I really like this one. I'm doing it on a piece of Lakeside Vintage Buttercream. This is all I have done. This is it. It's ridiculous. I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed of my progress. It just has these gorgeous colors, like these funky, gorgeous colors. Why? So yeah, this needs to be worked on. So I'm no longer ashamed. I got this bag from the Etsy shop called Harriet and Frankie, and I just think it's the funkiest thing ever, and it works perfectly for this Jane Hardy. This next one is Anne Roberts, which is another one that I love so much. I would really like to see it finished. Hands Across the Sea. Did I say Jane Roberts? Anne Roberts. I love the colors. I love just the saturation. So pretty. I did change the turquoise to make it more vivid. I switched mine to 3810. And I'm doing this on a piece of Lakeside Vintage Exemplar. That's how much I loved this piece. I know you hear people say, don't save Lakeside, you know, don't just stick it away and not use it. Well, I'm using it, but I make sure I use it for pieces that I freaking love. So beautiful. And I just love how that brighter blue just pops. Yeah, I really need to work on this year. So pretty. I've been working on this long enough where it's not even on one of my metal rings. That tells me something. The stuff I didn't work on. Hold, please. Buster likes to lick cans. Yeah, there's no condensation on it, sir. It's been sitting in here with me for a while. Do you need up here? Come here. Oh, yeah, I grabbed you by your knot. You want to say hello? Oh, we can see out the window from right here. It's very exciting. He's a good boy. Yeah. Stop. Stop trying to get my can. Put it over here. Yeah, I took it where you couldn't get to it. The next one, Sarah Stewart Hardman. Also was going to work on this year. Didn't. This is the one that is extremely similar to the out of print piece that everybody wants to stitch, the name of which eludes me. But it's hard to find, so you don't need to know. Just buy this one. This is Needlework Press, Sarah Stewart Hardman. I love a chart with a good bird. I do. Big fan. Big fan of a bird. This is a Color and Cotton limited edition. It was in a Halloween box using the called for threads. Check out that bird. And I went ahead and stitched the border all the way around. It's something I rarely do. I was in a weird mood like a crazy person and just took it all the way around. What do you think, Buster? I have the fan on in here because it's December and I'm hot, wearing short sleeves. And it's rarely on in here, so he's a little, Mom, what is that? What's happening? In the stack. Totally was going to work on this year too, Buster. I recharted the verse for this, which I think just having to work that in is one of the things that has slowed me down. Excuse me so much. I also did the border all the way around on this one. Must have worked on these at similar times. This is Jane Tindle. You can really tell nothing about it other than I worked the border around. This is on a piece of Picture This Plus Legacy. Get that up closer where you can see how gorgeous that fabric is. I at one point had bought like a ridiculous size piece of Legacy. And I think this is from that cut. In case you don't know what Jane Tindle looks like, it's a Needlework Press with lots of cows. Lots of fun cows and grass. This has a very religious verse on it, which I changed. I changed it to read, and I believe I have this on my link tree, which should be down below. If I don't, reach out to me and I'll make sure it gets up there. Live in each season as it passes. Breathe the air, drink the drink, taste the fruit, and resign yourself to the influence of the earth. And that's a quote by Thoreau. Liked it much better than what was there, so I've charted this. I have it. Got to get it stitched on this piece. Once I get it stitched on the piece and can just completely work by the chart itself, I think that I will go faster on it and be more inclined to pull it out and stitch on it. I love changing verses, but it can be extra work. I don't know why I didn't work on this. I think that I always think I'm closer to done on it than I really am. This is the Red Deer Sampler by GGR. It's gorgeous. It's full of funky colors. I think another thing is I really want to chart my name across the bottom. And I just haven't taken the time to do that, because whatever is across the bottom is, I don't know, it's something I don't understand. Yeah. So this I started on a piece of coveted vintage cedar plank from Lakeside Linen. I bought this and now you can't find it. Yeah, I always feel like I have more of this done. I finally started on the deer, I think, hoping that that would motivate me. It hasn't. It's not that I don't like this piece. I freaking love this piece. I even have thought exactly where I would hang it in my house when it's finally done. It's one of those. Like, it's a, I want to have this finished, not just a process. I mean, look at those colors. It's the called for gentle art. It's freaking beautiful. This has been folded up in here so long. Let's fold it a little differently. Does anyone else try to do that? Like, let their linen rest. If you pull it out, make sure it's folded up differently the next time, so that your folds aren't like permanently in there. Did I really not put this back in there, Buster? I thought you were helping. Crinkle, crinkle, crinkle. And then I've got to put Jane Tindle back in here, because apparently I didn't put her back in. One left. It's another one with a bird. Another one on Lakeside. Maybe that's part of it. Maybe I am hesitant to finish things on Lakeside because when will I get to stitch on it again? Which is silly. This is Jane Baxter. This is the Conversion by Country Sampler. Great birds. Lots of great birds in this one. And a nice morbid verse. I have done this to let you see what care my parents took of me when I am dead and in my grave. Hope this piece of work you have. Nice rhyming there at the end, Jane. I mean, work on this more, Emily. This is the way it looked when I showed it last year. But I mean, look at that purple bird. And this is on a piece of Lakeside Vintage Maple Sugar. Maple sugar, maple syrup, I can never remember. It doesn't really matter. It's beautiful. This old man over here. Okay, now we are going to dive into pieces that I want to touch. I've showed this to you before. I still haven't worked on it. This is where I pulled out the Heaven and Earth design that I have started, or Mahade. And one of the reasons I haven't worked on it again is I really want to convert the DMC onto thread drops. And I put some of the DMC away, and it's just going to be a little bit of work on my part, and I just haven't put forth that work yet. I did have Mad for Minders make me a minder to motivate me, and I had this bag made to motivate me, but this is the image, and it's altered by Anne Yvonne Gilbert. I believe I checked and it's still available on their website, and this is how far I've gotten. Not very far at all, but it's really pretty. Like, you can't even really see that part of it on this small needle minder. Yeah, I know, right, buddy? And I'm not doing this in full crosses. I'm doing this in 2/1 tent stitch, which goes a little bit faster. I have planned that I will finish this when I'm 85. This I want to work on again this year. This is Jane Moore. I started this with Lauren, the New Hampshire stitcher. She didn't start this, but I started it for her BAP to School Sal. It's a big one. This is Jane Moore by the Scarlet Letter, and it is ridiculously big. 300 by 404. Has all these mythical creatures, or a mythical creature, and it's just really pretty. This is on a piece of Coloring Cotton limited edition fabric with DMC. It's just a nice neutral. It's a good one. It's a lot of pinks, but when pinks are mixed in with other like bright colors, especially like greens and browns, I dig it. I really dig it. So get this folded back up. Back in this beautiful bag that Story Owl Stitchery made. That when I saw it, I was like, that goes with that. I'm telling you, she makes the best bags. Like, I have a lot of bag makers that I say that about. So she's not the only one, but she makes a good bag. Okay. I started this piece for my mother, and I just keep dragging my ass and not working on it. And I have got to get it done. Because the reality is, my mom turned 75 last week. If I want to give this to my mother, I've got to get it done. Because mothers don't live forever. This is, this particular one I'm stitching for her because finding a sampler with your last name on it is very difficult. Like, I will never find a sampler with Ciavarro on it. I just don't think that that's anything that Jim's Sicilian ancestors were doing. If I'm wrong, I hope I'm wrong. Like, somebody point me to something. I don't know that I've ever seen one with Reynolds on it, which is my maiden name. This one has my mother's maiden name on it, Fowler. I altered the colors a little. I started it during a point where I was using, like, really doing some crazy things with color. So it is on this pink piece of fabric. But you know what? It works. It's on this crazy piece of pink fabric, and I just need to finish it and get it framed and give it to her because I think she'd really dig the pink. I need to work on this. If anyone knows a way to motivate me, I need it. I need it. But then I'm also stuck in that I am a person who I don't like being told what to do. Yeah, that's me. Man, this fabric, it's so pretty. This is a Silk Weaver fabric, which, despite all my issues with them, they know how to dye a beautiful piece of fabric. Although they're really bad at what I can see here, which is dye spots. And then they just sell it. I don't care. Although that one's really close to the edge. And then you have some dyers, like, who are so particular about, like, quality linen going forth, where if they have a piece with a dye spot, they'll keep it for themselves, or they'll sell it at a discounted price, or they'll cut it into a smaller piece. Like, you know, people do stuff. And this one has a religious verse on it, but my mom's into that, so I'm just going to leave it. This is one that I did work on in the past year. I really enjoy it, and I'm going to pull it out for some dark 13 stitching this year as I just continue to pull. I think I have enough on this done where you can kind of get the idea. I converted the DMC to overdyes. Yes, here we go. This is Haunted House Sampler by Twin Peak Primitives. And so I did some edits on the colors. I definitely changed all the colors. I'm doing a few edits to the actual piece. Doing this on a piece of Weeks Dye Works Gray. I would like to have this done on my wall, but you know, I'm not in a huge hurry. If it happens this year, great. If it doesn't happen this year, it will another year. I like the ease of printing things myself and like downloadable PDFs, but like I never have the quality paper like from when you buy things, so I always get annoyed by the flimsiness of my print at home charts when that's my own fault. We're not even halfway there, folks, and we're close to an hour, so buckle in. I'm going to show you the adorableness though. Oh, look at how cute he is. He's so cute. This one I worked on this year, somewhat recently actually, but I enjoyed working on it so much, it's coming back this year. Plum Street Samplers, Friends of the Heart. This is also on a piece of silk weaver, using the called for colors with the exception of the called for color for the fox. I switched that one up because it was too pink. This is where I am. Hopefully I can get some good work on this year. I don't expect to start everything that I'll show you at the end here. Maybe a couple, because I have so many pieces that I've already started that I really need to work on. I'm not going to say this is going to be my year of finishes, but I would like to see some finishes. This is a little tiny one that at one point Jessie Marie had said that she wanted to do a French chart for a birthday start, so I started this one. This is the French word for poppies by Reflets de Soie. Called for DMC. Honestly, no clue what this linen is. And why do I have such a big piece for this tiny little thing? I think I was thinking I would finish it and then cut it so that I would still have a bigger piece and it would still fit in my Q-snap. And that's one reason, even though I have this tiny start, that this is in here so that maybe I can get it done. That's ridiculously small. But man, this kind of stuff I really enjoy stitching on. I have no idea what this fabric is, but it's beautiful. I bet I have it written down somewhere. Occasionally, though, I just end up with a cut from a piece in my stash. Wait. 36 Count Dusty Road, Seraphim. That checks out. I do not know why I have this in this tiny, tiny bag. Well, I can tell you why, because it was gifted to me by the sweet, sweet lady that owns the attic. Oh my gosh, why can I not remember her name? You're all screaming it at me. I can see her face. She gifted this. She gave all of us one when we were there earlier this year. So I made this fit in here, and it doesn't fit. But yet here I am, cramming it back in here again. Ultimately, because I'm sure I'm probably highlighting this pattern as I go, and it doesn't matter how crumpled it gets, because it'll probably just get trashed when I'm done with it, because it'll be highlighted all to hell. I have been thinking about this chart a lot, because I've seen other people work on it, I've seen other people's finishes, and I just want to get more done on mine. This is Martha Pudsey by the Scarlet House. I think that, Brenda, didn't you buy the original of this? I think you did. I think you bought it. I'm using DMC, and I also believe that this is a piece of Lakeside maple sugar. It looks like it, so we're going to say it is. Wow, I really thought I had more done than that. Just a little border work and that's it. But how pretty is that? That's also embarrassing. Buster just did that thing that cats do, where they get up and then they turn completely around but then lay back down in what seems to be the exact same position. No idea. So Martha Pudsey. This one I know Megan finished from Wide-Eyed Stitching Child. And I love this. It's one you don't see as much from Carriage House Samplings. I bet you can buy it from Hillside Rookery, Olivia B's shop, because she has a large Kathy Barrick and a Carriage House focus. But this is it. It's a ridiculously long and skinny piece. I'm doing this on a piece of Legacy. I tweaked a couple of the colors, but I haven't gotten to those yet. So we'll see if, I mean, this is what the piece of linen looks like I have cut for it. Also embarrassing. Embarrassing how little I have done on this. It's another reason it's in this stack. So what I will, there's so many charts down here. I'm going to leave all of the ones to start up here in their own box or basket. In fact, they may very well go over there on my shelf of WIPs with a divider. I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do with all of these other ones. Organization brain, planning brain happening over here. If you started this at the first of the year with a lot of other people, you know what this is just from the bag alone, because the bag was specially made for this New Year's Day start. This is Elizabeth Isles. It's beautiful. I think this is on a piece of American Chestnut. I have some weird stuff in here, guys. All the stuff that came with this bag. There's overdyed threads with this. And I need to work on this because I'm not even doing the bottom part. Like, I'm going to like curve this around and just not do the verse. This weird cherub border, of course, drew me to this. And I'm giving my cherubs kind of like alternating with a little bit of a darker skin tone and a lighter skin tone. I know Steph from Lindy Stitches made hers very inclusive and has all kinds of different skin toned angels, which I loved. This piece is great. It needs to get done. I would like to have it on my wall. My problem is I really need to have a few like longer, skinnier pieces. And this is me thinking finish rather than process. I redid my dining room in 2023, and I still have one wall that I've got to hang this stuff on, which is why I haven't shown it yet, because I'm the worst procrastinator in the world when it comes to some things. But on one wall I have a lot of my artwork, because this is how I hang artwork. This is just how my brain works. Like, it's maximalism, way too much stuff on the walls for some people, but for me it feels cozy. So one wall I have things hung higher because the dining room chair would come up near there and it doesn't need to hit artwork. So it's above, like where a chair rail would be. And the other wall has some furniture on it, so things can come down lower in between the furniture pieces and not look stark and empty. But then I have just kind of a blank area above that, which would be okay if it weren't for the wall on the other side having things so high. So I need just some little pieces to put above Mermaid's Folly is what's there. So I need to do that. I was thinking maybe this piece would fit there, but we're gonna, as we pull it out, we're gonna see it may not fit. It may still be too big. Yeah, I think this is gonna be too big, but I still want to finish this year regardless. This is Heartstring Sampleries Forever Young. I love Bob Dylan. Love Bob Dylan. That nasally voice of his just speaks to my folk-loving soul. And this is how far I got on this. And I really, really want to get this done. And there's a friend of mine that this always makes me think of, because this song Forever Young is the theme song to the show Parenthood. And if you've never watched Parenthood, it ran for seasons. When you're done watching me, go watch it from beginning to end. It's so freaking good. But she rewatches Parenthood, like, if not once a year, like every other year. And she's so obsessed with it, and she made me watch it, and now I love it, and I've rewatched it. So this always makes me think of my friend. I say that like she's deceased. We work together. But this is a good one. It's a really good one. And this is on a piece of espresso. Fiber on a Whim espresso. It's got a lot of green to it. I don't know if it's showing up on camera, but all of this darker area really reads green in person. So it works well with this heavy green stitching. Still going. This is one that I started thinking of my father. I started this on his birthday. This is on a piece of Fiber on a Whim oatmeal. He loved winter. He loved snow like a child. And we all know that the symbolism that a lot of people like to give to cardinals with deceased loved ones. My belief system, I don't necessarily believe that, but it's a nice thought. Enough where I really enjoy stitching this winter manor. One reason I haven't pulled it out again is because I bought thread to change the color for the house, and now I've changed my mind again. So I've got to finalize my thoughts on that. But I've got plenty of stitching I could do before I get to that point. So I just need to get some working on this. Dad's death anniversary is around the corner. He'll have been gone for, gosh, has it really been 8 years? Wow. Is that right? Yeah. He died in 2016, on January 19th. So maybe I'll pull this out to work on January the 19th. And if any of you younger ladies out there haven't lost a parent yet, 8 years later, it's still an emotional thing to think about. I loved my dad, though. I had like one of the best fathers in the world, I think. And I was lucky. I know I was lucky. This is one that I started. This is on a piece of Fox and Rabbit Prehistoric. This is Quincy the cat and Scoot. And you can see I've kind of assigned this needle minder to it. I didn't realize I had left that in there. And I love this weird blue cat. All I have done is his head and not even completed. So Quincy needs some work. And I'm doing him with the called for Gassed Midnight. And it is just a gorgeous shade of blue. And look at that variegation, how it shows up on this cat. Isn't that right, sweet boy? So much blue. So funky. Sitting here and doing this is killing my back. That's how you know you're old and out of shape. But I think it's also because I'm perched on the edge of this not so cushiony futon. Yeah, this is a futon. Diana made me this bag. I started this for my birthday one year, and I have a lot done on it, and I really need to get more done. This is an exclusive to Country Sampler. So if you love this, you can go on the Country Sampler website in Spring Green, Wisconsin, and order this kit. I loved this so much, I splurged on it a few years ago. And I switched out the fabric for a piece of Lakeside Vintage Exemplar. And this is where I am. See, my satin stitches are in that border, or the border of the interior words. So pretty. Man. Okay, get back in there. I don't know how I think I'm going to work on all this year. Jim and I have talked about, I'm going to lay back for a second. Jim and I have talked about maybe taking like one go somewhere vacation in 2024 and maybe a staycation. I could get some serious stitching done in a staycation. But the way that I like to stitch, which I don't like to change projects every day, I would get a lot done on one thing. Speaking of things that I need to get a lot done on, and that it's shameful that I haven't finished this. It has my freaking name on it. Like my name. Like it says emilyciavarro on it. It's embarrassing. And I changed the fabric. I darkened it up a little. And I need to get this done. Shameful. Stephanie, I suck. I think I said that last year when I pulled this out. How much I suck. It's not that I don't like it. I love it. Just too many good things to stitch. Too many good things to start. Oopsie. Okay, avalanche. This needs to stay out because I have been starting the new year with this one for like the past year or so. Peacock, a unicorn, a badger. I mean, this is a chart. This is full coverage. But, you know, I have a decent start on it. I got kind of a center mark. It will be the size of this piece with that size border all the way around. This needs a lot of work. Gently finish this, quirks and stitches, and like she must stitch in her sleep. That's all I can figure. She finishes in so many things and pumps out like so much stitching. I'm impressed and jealous. This one I started, if not last Christmas, around then. This is Jane Hopkins. I just saw that someone finished this, and it was gorgeous. Diane something on Instagram. I've been following her progress because she's been diligently working on this. And it's impressive. The bag was a gift from Susan at Vintage Owl Lady because she knew that I loved this one. I keep her little note in here. This is Fox and Rabbits Up in the Attic. And that's where I am on it. Nowhere close to being done. But, you know, a decent amount of stitching. I think I worked on this one so much last year when I was redoing my dining room because the flowers in it really remind me of the rug that I put in there. It's a funky rug, which you guys will see soon. Not this video, but soon. Once I get the stuff hung up on the wall, which was supposed to be done during my time off, you never do everything that you plan to do. But hopefully I'll get that done. Maybe one of my beginning of the year videos will include that. This, such a pretty bag. This is such a fun one to work on. I'm doing this on a piece of Marbled Pointer by XG Designs. This is Scarlet House Floral Motif Sampler. Very beautiful. Doing it with the called for colors. I love how it looks on this darker fabric. I just need to do more on it. I mean, that's beautiful fabric. Brenda made us all fall in love with this one. I mean, it's gorgeous, but she made us all fall in love with it. The joy of finishing things, like little motifs, and then moving on to the next little motif. It gives you such a sense of accomplishment. It's also why I think I really enjoyed working on the huge piece I finished in my stairwell, which is Heartstring Samplery's His Eyes on the Sparrow. Because it was just like, there were some bigger motifs, but there was just like a lot of little motifs, and it was so satisfying. Instagrammer Serena reached out to me recently. She's doing a WIP Go for 2024, and she wanted a lot of her Instagram friends to choose from her WIP list something to work on, to put on her WIP Go. I even have a needle on this, wow. And I chose this one, and I told her reason being is I too wanted to pull this out and work on it. Because it's another one. It's shameful I haven't done more. If you don't know what Pandemic by Long Dog Samplers looks like, this is my version of it. This is on a piece of Lakeside Vintage Sand Dune. Also shameful how little I have done. This is the chart. You can see how ridiculous it is, how little I have done. The color that I'm using is a color in cotton. It's like a purple so dark it's brown, called Dark Truffle. I have a whole lot of it, and I sure hope I end up with enough to finish it. I talked to Angela, and she and I did the math together when I kitted this, so I'm sure I do. She's pretty good at stuff like that, better than me. But yeah, this needs more love. Man. It's in this really weird vintage Owl Lady bag. This one I put in here as something I want to work on because it'll be good to pull out in May for Manning May. This is Treetops, but know that I changed the colors. When I pulled the colors that she had, it looked so different than her picture. So I just went through and made it look like her picture. If you've never started one of these pieces by Carolyn Manning, start one. It's soothing. I don't know how else to recommend it. And I'm doing this on a 32 count. Like, this is... I used to get this fabric all the time, and now I can't remember the name of it. It's like part linen, part synthetic. If I think of it, I'll put the name on the screen. But yeah, it's pretty great. Nice, like just soothing stitching. And we can all use some of that. Wexford linen. Wexford linen. This one I have no intention to finish this year. I just need to stitch some on it because it's embarrassing that I haven't. There was a big craze when this piece came out, and everyone was starting it, and everyone was picking a color, and I refused to pick a color. And then I kind of started something. This is on a piece of Velt. This is Long Dawn Samplers Death by Cross Stitch. And mine is super colorful. I stopped right here because at this point in it, as I wear this like a shirt, there's the alphabet. I don't know if I like the way the alphabet looks in it. If someone did something different than the alphabet, and like, can you direct me to that? Because I think that's what my stop is. I would really like to do more work on this. Maybe I just need to go down this side and come back to this. And I have just chosen colors at random. There's cottons in this, there's silks in this. I played with lots of different things and just really enjoyed it. This is a great, doing something like this is a great place to use some thread club threads. Let's enunciate. Like, for a long time I was part of the Color and Cotton Thread Club, and now I am again. And so it'll be a great place to put some of those to really good use. Shameful. Shameful I have not worked on this more. Because it's beautiful. I'm proud of it. It's beautiful. It needs work. This is in my Angry Vagina bag that Olivia made me. I don't need to explain why I call it that. I started this one for my birthday, the year that I turned 40, when I started so many different things. Because as you can tell by the Christmas gifts that Jim gave me this year, I just love this style of chart. Very little done. But that's okay, because I started it. This is on a piece of bramble. And it's beautiful. Isn't that right, buddy? He's snoozing. Mom's talking, he's snoozing. We're getting there. Such a pretty bag. I think this is another Harriet and Frankie bag. I started this one with Laura Duet, and someone showed it recently in a video, and I thought, why have I not worked on that again? I love this chart so much. It is on a piece of 36 count Up in the Attic by Fox and Rabbit, and this is Mill and the Floss, Sarah Bradley. If I remember correctly, I changed some of the colors. Let's just see what I did. Flipping through, flipping through. Maybe I didn't. I did. Here's my cheat sheet. Let's see, on Casa. Casa Stationery. I did a change. And I also pulled this Petite Treasure Braid Vatican Gold, because this has shiny stitches. Gotta love some good shiny stitches. You can see them in this girl's dress. Let's see if we can get them to reflect in the... She's pretty. Embarrassing. Shameful. Shameful. Man, that's pretty. Yeah, so this needs some work. It's got these funky oranges and stuff in it. I love funky colors. Got to get that back out. Along with the other 500 I just showed you. This one is in here because it always reminds me of New England and traveling to New England. And it's another one that I also thought maybe might fit above Mermaid's Folly, and it would also kind of go. This is Kathy Barrick's Riley Harbor. Doing this on an old piece of silk weaver. Yeah. Yeah. Shameful. Do more work on this, Emily. Another one that Jen from Quirks and Stitches has finished, and I'm jealous. But it's my own damn fault. Like, focus, Emily. Work on something. I also got really in my head about what color I wanted to do the whale. And I have, because the silk that is called for, like, just, I don't know. I'll decide that when I get to it. The silk that was called for, you can't find. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because you can't find it. In fact, I think Olivia B has it kitted in her shop, like you can buy the thread pack, and she substituted for the silk for the whale because she can't find it. So Gloriana, it's like it no longer exists. This one is giving me memories of traveling to St. Louis, Missouri, because I took this with me on that trip. And I just love this. This is Crown and Thistles, Quaker Seasons of Friendship. This you can only buy by calling or emailing Dying to Stitch in Virginia Beach, Virginia, because this is exclusively from that shop. I am doing this on a piece of Picture This Plus Rin with a crap ton of Classic Colorworks sticks and twigs. And I have a sad amount done. Still working in the winter section. But it's better than what I did have done, which is like a third of what you're looking at. It'll be really pretty when it's done. Does anyone else, as you're working on pieces and stitching them and they're getting framed, in the back of your head are you like, what's going to happen to this when I die? Where will all of this go? I do. And in fact, certain pieces, I've thought about marking the back of them, like niece, nephew. I only have one nephew. This goes to you. This one's yours. I don't care if you don't like it. I stitched it with you in mind. It's going to your house. This is Enchanted by Carriage House Samplings. I am stitching this with some girlfriends, and one of which is Olivia B. She may have already finished hers, and this is available as a kit in her shop. I am using the silks, and I have an embarrassing amount started. Shameful. So this could be finished and could potentially go above Mermaid's Folly as well. So this needs to get done. thinking towards what could go on the wall, which is something, like I said before, I don't usually do. This is my other pandemic sampler, which was a freebie from Sarcy Girl during the pandemic, doing this on a piece of fabric that I dyed. So it just is what it is. During the pandemic, we all know that COVID is still a thing, but back when we were all isolating and staying at home and everything was shut down, you couldn't get materials. You just couldn't. So we just worked with what we had. So I dyed this to a color that I thought would look good. And this is the shameful amount that I have done. Some of these I should really just, no, sweet boy. I'm not going to do this. I don't know why I'm saying it. But I should just pull out and work on until I finish it. It's just not what brings me joy a lot of the time. Occasionally I get obsessed with a piece and just work on it and work on it and work on it. But it's rare. This is the last one in the WIPs before I show you what made it into my, I'd like to start this. This is my really rumpled Clouds Factory Haunted House. You can tell I've worked on this one a lot. This is one that I converted to overdyed colors. I'm doing this on, who knows, just a solid piece of dark gray linen. I'm not sure what it is. It's a Zweigart, obviously, but I would like to get this one closer to done this year. I'm changing it up a little and taking out some of the more cutesy things. Like I won't do the witch, I'll just do more bats. But yeah, this is a good one. Just wadded that up and put it in there, I guess. Done stitching that. Jeez, Emily. I mean, what did happen to that? Okay. We're an hour and a half in, and all we have left to show are plans. I still don't know what fabric I'm starting the Modern Folk Embroidery Salon. It's this one. Maybe I remember to put that picture in. If not, I've showed it in the past 2 videos. You've seen it. So yeah, don't know. I need to do some more planning there, but it's getting started. It may not even go in this bag. Putting that over there. Don't know. This one is in my potential starts for the year. This is Ann Kirby, 1845. It's beautiful. It has a bird on it. It's right up my alley. I have a piece of Color and Cotton Beethoven and the called for threads set aside and ready. So that can go there. This one I just showed you in my Grateful Dead bag. Got to pull out a piece of fabric to put Sew Sisters on. This one I really want to start. So that's going in my 2024 start stack. the more I thought about this one, the more I would like to start it, but we'll see if I do in 2024. Hannah Peniston. On my piece, a vintage sampler with a bunch of converted threads that I piled in here. This one is definitely happening because I feel like it's going to fit above Mermaid's Folly. And I know you're like, Emily, how many things can fit above Mermaid's Folly? If you've never seen Mermaid's Folly, it's freaking huge. But this is long and skinny. This needs to get started. Need to get it done. Called for threads. Piece of legacy. Yeah. Gotta start it soon. And somebody was messaging me the other day about how they had changed a lot of the colors and they didn't like how blocky it was. I get that. But for some reason, how blocky the house is one of the things that drew me to it. And Jim said I should change Feast of Friendship to Feast of Friends, which I believe is, did he say that was a lyric to, he made me listen to the song, and he's going to be so disappointed in me that I don't remember who it was. Was it The Doors? I think it was The Doors. Coffee and eggs, getting started this year. But I've got to get another piece of baked clay to put this on because it really looks best on that fabric. Yep, that's what it's called for. And I said I really didn't like this. I think I need to get or pull some Adobe. Gentle Art Adobe is kind of a peachy pink. And I think that I'll like that more. I looked earlier though, and I don't have any in stash. I bet you I have one kitted with something somewhere. You look so grumpy. I know. He's just laying next to me. Oh. This one needs to get started. This is 1864 EF Sampler from Sampler and Antique Needlework Quarterly. Get the digital version. It's so worth it. All the DMC, gotta get on thread drops. Piece of vintage pearled barley. If you don't start it, you can't finish it. The last one, if you don't start it, you can't finish it, is this one. It's the last thing in the video. This is Jane Atkinson. I showed this in the last one as well. She is a beauty. Look up some finishes online. That border is phenomenal. Of all the called for DMC, which honestly is just a giant heap in this bag, so I won't pull that out. And I want to do it on this darker piece of Seraphim fabric. This is a piece of Tobias. And it's just so lovely. And that's it, guys. I'll get this edited, which should be minor, and get it uploaded, and hopefully it'll give you something to enjoy this last weekend before we all have to go back to the real world. And now I have to clean up this giant mess that I've made. Or we could just close the door on the sewing room and go on about our lives, which doesn't seem like such a bad idea, and I'll deal with this later. What do you think, buddy? We'll go downstairs and edit and watch some TV and stitch. That sounds like so much more fun. So, Happy New Year. I plan on doing very little for the rest of the weekend and on New Year's Day. Going out to eat with my sister tonight. meeting her and my nieces. Maybe Jim will go. He went off to gallivant and do his own thing, which is great. I, had breakfast with my husband this morning, spent some time with him yesterday. So maybe he'll go with us. Maybe he won't. I know, buddy. Oh, he's a good boy. Oh, we're getting our butt scratched. We're really into it. Okay, all right. Too into it. And yeah, I'm just going to rest this weekend and prepare for the year ahead. Yeah. I'm watching season 2 of Yellow Jackets, which I know it's a Showtime show. I know I should have watched it forever ago when it came out. But I had a friend that was watching it with me. And then, pregnancy, and she had a baby. So I love her, but I've given up. I'm just watching it on my own. So I'm doing that over Christmas break. I'll watch it again with her if she wants. And it's just, it's a slow pace this time of year that we all need. We're doing our New Year's Eve, ordering Chinese takeout and just staying in. We'll light some logs in the fire. Just nice, cozy, slow pace. It's how we New Year's. Buster loves a good fire, don't you, boy? Yeah. All right, buddy. Say goodbye to everybody with me. Yeah. Oh, goodbye and Happy New Year's. Bye, guys.